Alors, si tout le monde m'entend, on va commencer. 46 personnes, tout le monde est là. J'ai enlevé mon masque, c'est un peu mieux. Alors, je vais vous présenter un peu Aram Bartholl, qui est sur la webcam juste en face de la mienne. Aram Bartholl est artiste plasticien et professeur en art et médias numériques à l'Université des sciences appliquées de Hambourg. Il est identifié comme artiste interdisciplinaire, artiste des médias, un artiste conceptuel ou encore un artiste post-numérique. Aram Bartholl a exposé au MoMA de New York, au Sculpture Project de Münster, au Palais de Tokyo à Paris, au Hamburger Bahnhof, au Seoul Museum of Art et à la Biennale de Thaïlande, entre autres. Et il interroge les frontières entre espace privé et public en jeu dans nos relations quotidiennes aux objets connectés et comment nos moyens de communication, considérés comme acquis, nous influencent-ils? Il n'est pas seulement question de savoir comment les êtres humains interagissent avec les médias, mais de se demander aussi comment ces médias interagissent avec nous. Les tensions entre le public et le privé, l'online et l'offline, la soif pour les technologies et la vie de tous les jours sont autant de thématiques omniprésentes dans son œuvre. Et justement, Aram Bartholl va nous présenter ses travaux et recherches les plus récents dans lesquels il crée des interactions entre Internet, culture et réalité en impliquant dans ses installations et interventions publiques des manifestations physiques du monde numérique en remettant en question notre conception de la réalité. Ah, mais je suis tout petit. Alors voilà. Et sur ces mots, je vais passer la parole à Aram qui va commencer sa présentation. Aram, it's your turn. Welcome.
Hey, yeah. Merci pour l'introduction. I will speak in English though. I used to speak French some time ago. We have small images now again, right? Is there something we can do about the presentation that it's going to be
It's big for me.
Is it big for everybody? Because on my computer, it's like changing, like on the second computer, it seems to change every now and then. So maybe people not moving their mouses on the presentation. But I will just start.
Okay.
I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
And yeah, we will start with this little video here. Oh, wait. There's no sound, but it's okay. Or maybe you hear a little bit sound from my microphone. Yeah, just scale it big. That's fine. Thank you, Mathieu. Okay, so this is a little video for the entrance. Yeah, this was at the Thailand Biennale in end of 2019. Actually end of 2018 and then 19, the Biennale was running. And in Krabi, Krabi, which is a very tourist area of Thailand, and all the works of this big show were scattered over the beaches and different touristic locations. And as you can see here, I had these 3 big panels printed on transparent screen, and then just had this performed on the beach in a few times a day. And this is a very famous beach. It's also a very busy beach. It's we're standing in front of a hotel resort where the cheapest room is just is 1,000 euros, I think, and it is the perfect beach, and the title of the piece is also the perfect beach. So what we see is these pictures from the internet where beaches are photographed and often used as backgrounds, but then when you bring them to the beach, which is supposed to be the perfect beach, people are taking pictures of them again. So they're already on vacation. They go to this like exotic place in the Southeast Asia, and then they take pictures. They're on the they're on one of these perfect beaches, but the beach is never empty, right? And we have these stereotype pictures where the palm tree also comes in from the right side, but actually there's no land where it can come in. And yeah, it's kind of interesting how then people take pictures and then loop them back to social media, and it poses very much the question of our reality today. So was I on vacation if I don't post a picture? Like, oh, do I only go to this place to post pictures online? And what happens when you bring these perfect pictures to the beach? And people, yeah, I didn't like tell people to take pictures, but they would just do it anyway. So this was yeah, it's like one of these examples how I like to discuss how technology and social media and internet is like influencing us and interfering with yeah, not interfere, yeah, but it's like influencing us in our behavior and in the way we treat media. Here, I'm just going to show like a bunch of projects. I think I have 40 minutes something to talk. Um, this is about bicycle sharing. These bicycles were all over Berlin 2, 3 years ago. There's still a lot of bicycles, but companies are already reduced again. I'm sure you have those too in Monaco, and yeah, I've seen a lot in France and Paris and other cities. It's these new startups who go and have a model and just dump a lot of these bikes all over the city. And for me, they are kind of these objects from the internet. It's a service which is very much bound to internet, and it only works through the app. You have to have a phone, you have to have the app, and it's the whole new startup idea which comes to the city through these sort of services. And but what happens when you take you take a bicycle like this, which I can rent and I own it for that moment. But when I take it inside into a gallery, for example, so for a show in Berlin 2018, I took a bunch of these bicycles and used them as sculptures and installation in this gallery space. So it's a public guy, yeah, it's a private gallery, but it's open to the public. I rent a bike, which I own for the moment, but I bring it inside, which I'm not supposed to. But also at the same time, the bicycles are just outside in public, but nobody was asked, but the company is just bringing them there. So it's different ideas of private and public space and how we use those and how companies use those. I was doing workshops and yeah, different workshops in that week when the bicycles were there, and we had discussion rounds about how these new services kind of disrupting society and also disrupting the way we live together. There was a follow-up piece installation in a gallery, Panke Gallery in Berlin, 2019. It was a whole week about working conditions. With these so-called gig economy jobs. So people who deliver food, people who drive the Uber car, or other jobs as Amazon jobs or jobs which are like based on applications, on apps. And there's a whole new economy around how work is changing, the type of work we do. So this installation is like talking about the delivery jobs, but also jobs how scooter batteries are reloaded, and oftentimes these jobs are self-employed. You don't like all the classic rules of employment and strike and these things, which were forced by the socialist parties in the past 100 years. Kind of there's a loophole now, so it's a whole new working condition, and this is coming to many other companies and employment situations today. This is a German advertisement sign I found on the street, and there's some more details about it, but this picture, it kind of refers to the very precarious situations of these workers. You sometimes have people like this working for a company for delivery, but then they live in the street. So it's a little bit like a tent, what you see here. And we had discussion rounds with different groups and artists who work around these topics in that week in 2019. And there was a small publication of different texts and pictures from the show I published in that year. Another work which hooks up, connects to this series of thinking about public space and how these companies come in there was started this year in 2020. It's called Unlock Life. Unlock Life is the slogan of the company, scooter company Lime. And we went to one of the canals in Berlin and pulled these scooters from the water. So people, I think kids, like dump these scooters in the water just out of fun. Also, I think they, it's in a way, they're very carelessly treated, these devices in the city, these rides. And it's the same carelessness these companies bring with them when they dump them in the city. It's like, oh, you want scooters now? Here's like 10,000 scooters for Monaco or for Berlin. I'm not sure if you have them. And then, they in the way, and a lot of people hate them. So also bad things happen to them. So we pulled them out of the water, and I turned them, also scooters and bicycles. And they become, in that moment, they become this relict from a very old time. It seems like it's a new startup. They're just in town for 1 year, but those are dumped in the water, and you take them out a year later, and they look like age old, like from a different century, or like the dinosaurs of this sort of surveillance capitalism we live in. So this is a bicycle from the Spree River in Berlin. And what I did then, I took these and exhibited them as sculptures in the museum. Here you see some installation shots of a bigger group show at the Kunstraum Kreuzberg this year, actually, this spring. And they have the patina of the Algia, like the very green and a lot of mud on them. And they become these kind of witnesses of how fast internet companies move and how fast things can change. And the discussion about how, does society want this? Do we want to have companies like this scattering scooters in the city? So it's like it's instigating these discussions, and I think it's very important addition to that. And when we took them out of the water, you could even find like small animals on them too. So this like the Unlock Life advertisement slogan, in the sense, becomes like a very concrete slogan here. Let me show you some like general pictures I take when I walk around the city. This is Breitscheidplatz, is one of the famous centers in Berlin on the west side, and it's just a big advertisement on a building. We have this all the time, right? you know it. And usually this would be 10 years or 20 years ago, this would be like a advertisement for a car, for Mercedes maybe. You see the star on the top of the building. But this time it's an advertisement for a phone. And for me, it's like, it's such a very symbolic gesture that you have like this huge advertisement. It looks almost like a car, but it's a phone, and how these devices, smartphones, became so important in our lives and also changed a lot the way we communicate in the past 10 years, past 13 years. So the iPhone is from 2007. And they're kind of replacing the house, also the places we live in. Or I wonder, do they do that? And this is the way we engage with public space today. This is the view you have when you go in public transport or you go to the train station. This is probably at the university in US somewhere, but this is very common. This is the way we live together today. And it's always important to think back when these new mediums like appear, and it changes a lot the way we engage with each other. So you have a comparison with the newspaper down here. I imagine.
Alors, il semblerait qu'il y ait un problème. Aram a disparu.
What was the last thing I was showing?
I think it was the second image of the bicycle.
Okay.
C'est les trottinettes, je sais pas comment on dit trottinette.
Bicycle. Dudum, dudum. Like something like this?
No, we were.
Not the next one.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay.
A little bit
Okay.
further.
Sorry about that. We
Again,
start.
again.
And
We
yes.
were far from this one, in fact.
Where were we?
Because next ones
No,
is
no.
the tricycle, or I don't know how to say that, kids just throw in the river.
We've seen this already?
Yes, it's the dirty bicycles. We were there.
No, I think we were at the Dominic saying that we were at the publicity, at the phone advertising.
We were here?
Oh, yeah.
So everybody saw something else?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I was like not completely lost, but a little bit lost. Okay.
Okay.
I can I do like a quick recovering this. So the bicycles came from the water and ended in the museum space, and they are the witness of what happens to startup economy in these days, where a lot of companies put a lot of money out and then ideas out, and we're supposed to use them, but it's not really working for everybody, and also people are annoyed. It tells a lot about the tension of public space and private space, and yeah, how these companies from the internet with software are changing our lives. I've shown this, I guess. Yeah. Now, how much time we have left now? You need to talk to me, because otherwise I will think I'm like offline. I need someone next to me to talk to me. Can you hear me? Yeah. I need someone like with an open microphone to like answer me questions, because otherwise I will not know if I'm here or not, because I'm looking at the presentation. I don't look at the screen. And I don't want to talk to empty. Okay. I'm just like keep talking a little bit in the background. That's great.
Yes, thank you.
We skipped this, and I was talking about phone zones. I introduced these telephone zones. So is this something we need for the future as a question? In Germany, you have you have smoking zones on the platform for the train, which is something very common, and it's also not common in Europe anymore, I know. but what about having phone zones? So I introduced this for a solo show in Arnsberg a couple of years ago. But at the same time, we have walking lanes in China for walking with the phone or without the phone. And I'm not sure if this is like a local thing or if this is like in the whole country, but I find it very remarkable. And in countries like US, Hawaii, you're not allowed to walk with a phone across the street anymore. So these phones are kind of interfering very much with our attention. And we are supposed to keep attention to the traffic. Here's a print series of stock photographs, which I find online, and it's a gesture of the open hand, but also what you can tell, what you see is like there's a phone missing in this hand, right? It's already it's meant for like commercial use, and you buy this photo and then you Photoshop like a telephone in there, but I like kind of like this open gesture, and at the same time we already know the phone is gone. And they're produced as prints on canvas, and it's produced in this classic printing grid, which is opposed to the pixel grid we look at all day, also an older technology. Here's a few more of these, and then the watermarks claiming the ownership of the company, of the photographer, and there's different layers of ownership going on here. A telephone is a very they're these like super important devices we cannot live without anymore. And at the same time, when they're old and when you bring them to the recycling, they're becoming very toxic. So there's on one hand, there's data on there, private data, and when I'm not allowed to have this data anymore. And at the same time, there is batteries in there which could catch fire. So when like these phones are stored in the recycling company, they put them in bins with this grain stuff, which prevents the fire to spread. So we have this highly beloved devices, and we need to buy new phones like every year, every second year. And at the same time, when we dump them to the trash, they become very toxic and they have all these problems. And of course, there's raw earth materials in them we need to reuse. So all of this is like this part of the communication becomes a huge problem after we use those devices. This is a project from 2018. It's called Common Ground. It's just a green screen, kind of, you all more or less know this technology. It's like the classic technology from Hollywood movies, but also it's much older than, old Hollywood movies even. And it kind of became the popular background for all the YouTubers and online production influencers to key in any image in the back. And here I just put a green screen, part of a public art show during the Bauhaus here in Dessau. I put it in the park, and this is the romantic park of some Herzog, I don't know the English word. Some Herzog was living in this castle, and all around are these like old sculptures, and maybe there's like a ruin built, and this park is kind of constructed as a stage also for imagination, kind of when the Herzog would go through the park and they have maybe a play, and it's this big imagination going on. And today all the imagination happens on the green background and on the film industry background, but also on the influencer YouTuber background. And so people were invited to of course to stand on this green screen and take pictures again. And it's kind of the follow-up project from the beach, the perfect beach we saw in the beginning. And also poses again that question of reality, what kind of reality we live in, because everything we do online, of course, is very real. So when Donald Trump is making a tweet and almost like third world wars, breaking out or whatever, it's like, it's so real, it's dangerous already, but it's just the digital space. So something happened in the past 10, 15 years. And of course, then people post these pictures online again. What else we have? Yeah, this is the chair project. Also referring to the beach again, but it kind of combines different aspects. Here's a little phone charger oven. So yeah, this is kind of these questions I ask myself. What happens when the electricity goes out? What happens when Google goes out? And we witnessed this 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I think, when Google was offline for quite a while, and everybody who was working with Google Docs had a problem. What happens if the electricity was out? And here is this little stove. You make a fire, and the heat of the fire is charging this tablet. And I made like a whole series of videos, like talking about chairs in public and office chairs in public in particular, and how these chairs are witness of our office work and looking at the computer work. And then you can buy a product like this to have a green screen, blue screen, like before, behind your back to give a presentation. But I turned this into this beach scenario again, and then people were invited at the show to yeah, experience this and wonder where they are. What I mean, we have like the home office Corona year and digital teaching year, which goes crazy, and so these works really suited very much this year. Yeah, this is an older work, Unknown Gamer. Yeah, those times when I was traveling a lot, I like to take pictures and make videos of my seat neighbors playing a game. And the Unknown Gamer, so kind of is this video series showing other travelers being totally sucked into their phones, paying no attention to surroundings. So on one hand, I'm kind of violating their privacy because I just take the picture, I don't ask them. At the same time, they're so obstructed with their phone, they don't notice this. And yeah, I think this tells a lot about our relation to media and social media. Big part of my work is also doing workshops. So at shows, people are offered a bunch of material, and then in this case, they were invited to build headbands to wear your phone on your head. This is 2015, I think. So what would it be like to have this private device turned inside out and show the world what you're carrying on your head? And also for all these experiments, what can happen when you have interaction like this? So I kind of in these workshops, also my work approach is often taking devices or situations and turning them upside down, using them in a way they're not meant to be used. And what here comes in some sculptures, which are a bit, which are maybe, yeah, a bit weird. You will notice in a minute. It's just like prints on flat cutouts mounted on the wall, and they became this combination of phones on the head and phones in the space. And later on, the phone is also appearing in the water. This was from a show in Arnsberg a couple years ago. And the whole show was taking place on the lake, and you were able to swim to the different art pieces. And I set up another cutout phone with a mirror on it this time, and it was interesting because the water was rising during the time of the show, so there was a lot of rain, and the water of the lake, water level of the lake was rising. Same piece was set up in Berlin, 2017, and of course people go to these places and then take a selfie in the phone in the water, and kind of the water is rising from the the hand is rising from the water. And of course there's a lot of it's kind of saving the phone, but also talks about how we live with phones and what it does to society. And rising water levels are a topic by itself. And most recently it is shown, it's still on show at the ZKM Public Art Show in Karlsruhe and in the Schlossgarten, and there appears to be a swan being very attracted by the mirror. So there's like a romantic theme even going on here. How much time do I have?
10 minutes left?
10 minutes? Is this okay? I'm not delaying everything too much. Are we good?
No, it's okay.
Okay, fine. Here's some pieces from Skulpturprojekt in Münster. It's a big public art show which took place in 2017. Visitors were invited to charge their phone at the bonfire. So you can mount your personal phone to this stick, and at the front of the stick is the same device that we had earlier. You use the heat of the fire to turn it into electricity. It's like a special device on there, and at the same time, so this is very interesting because the bonfire is sort of the first technology humans mastered, like way back in the days, in the Stone Ages, or maybe this is even the moment where humanity started by mastering fire, like a very early technology, one can say. And this combines the very recent technology. I've already talked so much about these mobile phones. And so people gather at the bonfire to charge their phone, and they communicate, of course, because the bonfire is also a place of communication while charging their phones. Yeah, this also works really well here. We had, this was going on for half a year, and the fire was running like all the day around. So it was like a lot of people came through here, and a lot of discussions going on. And a similar technology was employed in one of the pedestrian tunnels in Münster. So there's these 5 chandeliers, and the tunnel would lead to the castle of the city. And each of the chandeliers consisted of 10 tea candlelight powered camping lamps. So it's a camping lamp with a LED lamp on top. And it's the same technology here again. You put a little tea candle, and the heat of the tea candle is transformed into electricity by the small device in the middle. And you have the light of the fire, which is very yellow. And at the same time, you have this called LED light, which kind of represents like very much technology, and all this comes together in these little objects put together as chandeliers. So yeah, it really represents very much my approach of like talking about technology and talking about media, and when I try to put this in relation to, well, yeah, maybe in a big word, to humanity, or to very old customs, and yeah, the very classic way of living. I'm missing the right words. Yeah, I'm going to show like a little other video. This was a solo show in Denver, US, also a couple years ago. And I did this work with surveillance cameras. So these are surveillance cameras. They hang from the building. They're on the floor, but usually they hang from the building upright. And they're kind of these perfect devices. They're waterproof. They have a heating in there. They have a cooling system. There's a whole computer in there, and the round ball in the front with a camera. And you see them in the train station. I'm sure you have a lot too. They can move around, and they can follow movement. So it's a computer with software, and when you move in front of them and you put the right program in the software, the ball would move around and follow the movement. And I took these and put them on the floor. I hope you can see this. So they become these sort of helpless little animals, and looking at each other. Whenever they start rolling over the floor, of course, there's a lot of movement, and then they try to find the object of desire. it's this technology which is very present all the time, and it's part of the surveillance system which is like applied to us every day. And here is a whole different view when you use these objects as a different medium. Well, I think I stop here. I came through everything. I'm very sorry about the technical issues. I think it was my fault because I was not signed in and then I got kicked off. But yeah, anyway, we're good. Yeah, so this would be it from my side.
Okay, thank you, Aram.
Thank you very much. We do the Q&A, or no, we do like a talk tomorrow, right?
Oh, if do we have? Well, maybe if we have 5 minutes, if someone has a question, and you can answer it. But we will mainly answer questions tomorrow at 2 with Aram.
Yeah.
So everyone is thanking you. Maybe I have a small, a weak question for you.
Sure.
As you are, I read you are considered by many as a digital artist. I wanted to know if you agreed with that, as you work with digital realm, but you also make very always physical objects.
Yeah, that's kind of the paradox that I'm coming from this field of digital art, but it's almost all of my art is like objects or prints or installation or sculpture. It's just the approach. So I'm fine. Like, people can call me whatever they want. I mean, I've been named many ways, like interdisciplinary artist, post-internet artist, digital artist. You name it. But I'm very aware that my work, I mean, my work is very tight, like talking about these topics, but then the artwork itself is not digital most of the times. But that's fine to me. I mean, and I think it's very today, I mean, the development of the past decade, and yeah, you artists, like everybody here, I think and I see my students as well, they work with many different media. So maybe you make a painting, you make a sculpture, you make an animated GIF, you make a video, and it's all different mediums, and it's fine. It's great. So the whole like digital art field arrived in mainstream long time ago, and everybody is making their choices how to use this.
Yes, we agree. So thank you, Aram.
Yeah.
And I hope our students will prepare some nice questions for you tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you again. Bye.
Thank you,
very
Aram.
much. Yeah, you look great. It's a great group here. I think you made a great choice to go to Mozilla Hubs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aram.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Alors, maintenant, nous allons passer à Marie-Ève Levasseur. Alors, il y a une porte en haut des escaliers derrière vous qui va mener tout droit